When the Vision Pro was initially announced, I felt that it would unlock me from my desk. It would deliver the same types of experiences that I get from my laptop, my TV, and my phone. Just, I don't have to have these devices. However, after having this thing for more than a week and actually trying to use it more since my last video, I've come to the conclusion that this is not the future that I want. A couple of nights ago, I tried to watch a immersive video, the ones where it feels like you're there, the tightrope, and I failed. Why? When you watch these videos, you have to be sitting the way I'm sitting now. You have to be sitting upright. When I'm in bed, I generally don't want to sit upright. It kind of got me thinking, do I want a device that's going to force me to change my behavior in the real world so that I can experience things at a lower fidelity than I would be able to experience in the real world? And to be honest, the answer is no, which is why a couple days ago, I've decided that I am returning the Vision Pro. Just 2 days after I said that I wouldn't. I was able to kind of get over the fact that I couldn't watch, this content the way that I want to watch it, because I don't consume much content. And the content that I do consume is generally words, writing, like books, blog posts. I don't want to read that. It's still a screen. Let's just say that. It's still a screen. I don't enjoy reading from my screen. I much prefer reading from a book on my Kindle e-reader, which I know is a screen, but it's different. And for papers, I will literally, I have a printer that I bought so that I can print out stuff. If I want to watch content, I'm going to watch it over there on my nice 77-inch OLED TV. There is no reason for me to watch regular movies on my Vision Pro. I don't think that I would ever be able to get through a regular movie on my Vision Pro. I have not been able to keep the thing on my face for more than 30 minutes. I feel like I should have known, but the geek technologist in me, I'm just like, oh man, like this is awesome. I would love to put a computer on my face. But after, actually putting it on my face and having to deal with what comes along with putting a computer on your face, I've decided that, nah, that's not for me. That's for the birds. I will pass, which is why I am returning this Vision Pro on principle. I know a lot of people, they're returning it because of the cost. I am actually of the opinion that you can't pay me to use this device for more than an hour a day. I really, really, really don't like having the thing on my face. And every time I put it on my face, it's like I'm forcing myself to keep it on. I've come to the conclusion that if I keep the device, that I am signaling to Apple that they made the correct move and that this is what I want for the future. So on principle, I have to return it. All of the experiences that the Vision Pro delivers are inferior to what I can get here. It has to give me something new that I can't get anywhere else. And while it does give me some things that are new, honestly, they're not that compelling. Yeah, it's kind of cool being able to place a window anywhere in 3D space, but does that do anything for me? Does that make me more productive? Does that heighten my experience? And to be honest, it doesn't. Using an iPhone app, using an iPad app in Vision Pro, while it is cool that I can do it, it's an inferior experience to just touch. Like this is much easier. It's much quicker. I don't hate it as much as I hate putting something over my face and seeing the world in a worse way. The thing that really sealed the deal for me was when I installed Hello Chinese, which is an app that I use for fun. Initially, I was really, really happy that I can install this app on my device. But when I did one of the reviews, and I first started, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool because the touch targets are very, very large. There are only 4 options. However, when I got to the second part of my exercise, which is generally grammar or sentence construction, I realized that the looking around like this and doing this is not accurate enough and it's tiring.
准备，我签客户听说签听说准备 客户准备签合同了。我听说客户准备签合同了。
The fact that I have to look at the specific thing and I had to like really concentrate to make sure that I'm selecting the right character, and then I have to do this to make sure I select that character. It seems easy just saying it. However, when you're actually trying to do it, I ended up selecting the wrong words when I would actually make the selection, when it was highlighting that that's the thing that I'm gonna select. When I go to make the selection, I may glance away because I have, some of you all have like, robot eyes. You can just do this. I can't do that. Like, I'm looking around. This is not the way that I want to interact with any kind of device at all. It's cool that it's there. I like having the option to interact with my device that way, but in general, I don't want to interact with a device that way. So I decided literally after I finished that I was probably going to return it. However, it got worse. I turned off all of my lights. I wanted to see what it would look like without light leaking in at the bridge of my nose. And I discovered that it can't deal with that. It kept telling me to uncover the sensors. So every so often I would kind of like move or whatever, and I would get this yellow pop-up alert that completely took me out of whatever else I was doing and saying, hey, uncover the sensors. And I'm like, well, the sensors aren't covered. It's just dark. Which I know a lot of you all may be thinking, oh, well, who's going to use this thing in the dark? But I did. And at least where I live, it's dark at least 10 hours out of the day every day. And a lot of times I work during the daytime. So by the time that I have time to just sit around and do nothing productive, it's nighttime. And I don't generally have all the lights on in my house. So I'm returning it today. It's all these paper cuts, and they add up to just death. I can't do it. Again, I can't even be paid to use this at this point. I don't like the developer experience. And that's mostly an Xcode problem. And, that's no fault of the Vision Pro. That's 100% Xcode. I didn't like the fact that the developer trap is $300. And it doesn't allow me to do anything that I can't do with just the Wi-Fi, other than have more reliability and faster speeds. I don't like the fact that I can't share what I see. I'm unable to show you the video, what it was like with me trying to watch that video because it's DRM. They censor it. This is not what I thought the future would be, where I can't share what I see. In real life, if me and you were out together right now and we were to go somewhere, let's say we were going to Tokyo. While we're walking down the streets, I can point to things and you can see them. You can almost see the same things that I'm seeing. Maybe it's from a different perspective because we're two different people, but for all intents and purposes, you can see exactly what I'm seeing. When you take these cell phones here, if I wanted to show you something, it's very easy. We can see the same thing at the same time, and I can point out things to you. With my laptop, same thing. With my TV, same thing. The Vision Pro, no, you can't do it. The best that you can do is recording the screen, which doesn't actually look like what you see. That's something that I don't think a lot of people have talked about, which is the field of view. All of the videos that I've seen and the video that I'll probably share of my recording of the Vision Pro, it doesn't look like that. And I'm not talking about from the quality standpoint. I'm talking about from the field of view standpoint. You see more in the video than you see when you're actually wearing the goggles. So I can't really share what I see. And even if I wanted to, Apple in their DRM is preventing that. That's not what I want at all. So I have to vote with my wallet. Keeping it would be too strong of a signal to Apple that they made the right decisions. And I fully disagree with that at this point. I wanted to love the Vision Pro. Even though I have no interest in VR, I thought that Apple would surely win me over because they focused, at least they seemed to focus, they really didn't. They at least hinted at a focus on productivity. given that that's something that I'm looking to elevate all the time, I thought that this would be the device for me. And I was willing to pay a lot of money to get something like this so that I could elevate my productivity, so that I can take my productivity to other places and not have to lose so much of it. But in all honesty, I'm less productive on the Vision Pro. It's cumbersome. It's hot. I live in Texas. Maybe it's not hot where you are, but like I feel the fans when they turn on, and they do turn on, I feel the air drafting up here and I feel the heat up here. And when I take it off, I have an imprint on my face. Like it's like sweating. That's not what I want for my future. And honestly, I'm very disappointed because it's a cool device. Like it's really cool. It's just that I don't like wearing it. I don't want to use it. It's sitting over there now. Like I look at it every day and I don't think, hey, I want to put this thing on. If I want to watch something, I'm more likely to just go over there and watch my TV or just pull up my phone and watch it on my phone. And this brings me to another point. You can't really take it anywhere. And here's what I mean by that. I go to restaurants with my friends fairly often. I travel fairly often. I go to different locations fairly often. And in all of these places, I'm able to bring my phone and my laptop and my watch, my iPad. I can bring all these things. They fit in my backpack. That's what I'm trying to say. My cameras, all that, they fit in my backpack. The Vision Pro, on the other hand, I'm not trying to take that out anywhere. It's too big. I'm not willing to carry it outside of the case because I don't want to damage those lenses on the inside, but I can't really take it everywhere. When I'm at a restaurant and, we have these smaller tables, I can't just pull out this Vision Pro and just put it on and I can't do that. And I know you may be saying, well, you shouldn't be pulling out your phone at a restaurant table anyway. And I will challenge you on that and say, well, if you are with my group of friends and we are all talking about something and I'm trying to show a picture or a photo or whatever, how else am I supposed to do that other than pulling out my phone and showing it to them? I think I'm completely out on VR as a thing. The only thing that I think I would be willing to accept at this point is augmented reality. And I don't mean where I put a screen over my face. I mean where it's like some type of glass or something where it's projected and I can still see the real world in infinite K. I don't want to look at the world through cameras. I don't want to cover my eyes. I don't want to have wires and cables hanging off the side of my face. I don't want to have a battery in my pocket. I don't want to be locked into only getting apps that are available on Apple's App Store. It's too many things that I don't want with Vision Pro. And I feel like if we continue to go down this path, the future of computing will be so far from what I grew up with that it would be unrecognizable. The fact that I bought my device and I'm unable to access that device, that's a no-go for me. I know that the iPhone is very much the same. However, I think that because it's a phone, some of these things I'm willing to give up on. Like it's a phone, right? Like it's not, I've never looked at it as a replacement to my computer. I don't see this as the evolution of my computer. Whereas I think Apple maybe people in general are looking at the Vision Pro as where computing is going. And if that's where computing is going, then I'm not on board with that. We have no control. I can't access my device. At least I thought it was my device, but I can't mount it on any of my file systems. It's kind of making me rethink a lot of things. I'm heavily bought into the Apple ecosystem, and I do understand that it's a fairly closed system. I'm not using this as an excuse, but I did grow up with Apple devices. And when I say devices, I really mean the Macs, like Power Mac G4, the Power PC days with the G5, like the cheese grater Mac Pro, the iMac, Mac Mini, the original iMac, the polycarbonate. Like I grew up with these. This is how I learned how to use computers. I feel like the Apple today is not the Apple that I grew up with. You were able to modify your machine if you wanted to. You had access to pretty much everything. And even today with modern Macs, sure, the hardware, and this is why I'm still tolerating it. The hardware I can't do anything with, but for the most part, I don't care about that because I don't want to deal with hardware. But the issue that I'm having with the other iOS or the other Apple devices, and I hope that it doesn't start to leak into Mac OS, is how locked down they are. I'm kind of conflicted on that because it means that I can lean on an experience. Like, I know what to expect. But on the other hand, it takes away my freedom of choice to do what I want with my devices. And honestly, I don't know how to reconcile those two feelings other than to say that for now, the Apple, Mac, and all this kind of stuff, like, I am okay with the status quo as they are. However, Vision Pro is not the status quo. This seems to be a moonshot in another direction. And you know what? I'm not going. I'm not going. Apple's going this way. I'm going to stay here, and maybe they'll realize something and come back. I don't know. But I'm starting to think that Apple is going to see a lot of returns on this Vision Pro as people realize that there's nothing you can really do with it that you can't already do. The app situation is very bad, and to be honest, you can't really develop for the Vision Pro unless you have a Vision Pro. And I wonder how many developers are going to be in a hurry to release things on the Vision Pro, knowing that not that many people have them. It's a lot of risk with Apple Vision Pro. And while I was, thinking about building my own application for the Vision Pro, I've now come to the realization that to do so would be betting on the success of Vision Pro. And at this point, I don't think that it's going to be the level of success that the iPhone has. And I understand that people are saying, oh, well, look at the iPhone when it first came out, all of that kind of stuff. I get it. But just because you had success in the past doesn't mean you're going to have success in the future. So to say, well, hey, just look at what the iPhone did. Here's the Vision Pro. It's like, no, that's a logical fallacy. They're two different things. Again, this is not the future that I want. I don't want to have FaceTime calls looking at people's ugly ass persona. I want to see you. Just like right now, you're seeing me. Obviously, it's video, but to me, this is a better experience. This is honestly the first time in a long time where I felt this conflicted about a device. I really started thinking about it, and it's dystopian. I don't want it. I don't want this future. But yeah, I'm actually interested to know what you all think. For the folks who are going to keep it, why? And for those of you who are going to return it, also same question, why?